Hey, welcome to Dagnabbit in the morning.
Welcome to Dagnabbit in the morning. I apologize for the late release, but we're here and we're doing it.
And we're queer.
And we're queer.
And you don't have to get used to it. Everyone always tells you to get used to it.
No.
You don't got to get used to this.
You don't. It's hard to get used to.
Yeah. When you look at guys like us, you don't got to get used to this shit.
I wouldn't if I wasn't. And that's what I hold at the gay pride parade. I hold a sign that says, I wouldn't if I wasn't. And that's just so all the homophobes in the crowd can go, you know what? That guy gets me. He understands that I don't want to.
And when you say homophobes in the crowd, you mean guys that are just trying to go to work.
Guys trying to go to work that are just guys from El Salvador trying to push through a very crowded sidewalk. And they're like, please, I'm late. And men are grabbing them by the cock.
I usually set up my my swap meet around here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would be funny. There's like a guy that like sells shit on the street every day, and then he shows up and it's a gay pride parade. I mean, I guess in the one sense, you're like, these are potential customers. But on the other hand, I am selling bootleg Captain America t-shirts. So I don't know if this is the crowd. But maybe.
Do they like DVDs?
Do you guys
like blank DVDs with Avengers movies on them?
Everybody got mad at me for screaming Blu-ray at the gay pride parade. I was trying to get people to buy Blu-ray, and they were more focused on kissing each other. All these guys keep kissing each other. They don't want to buy my DVDs.
Oh, what if you went to the gay pride parade and you're like, oh, there's guys kissing. Must be opposite day today.
The guy walking around the gay pride parade. What is this, the opposite parade? He's like, what are you doing?
I have opposite pride too. You're standing on your head.
You're in support, but you think it's for opposite stuff. That's a funny way to think about gay. Just the first time gay stuff is described to you, you're like, oh, so opposite stuff. Like one, you're like, well, you know, most of the time you fuck a lady, but you're fucking a man, so that you're like an opposite kind of guy.
That's cool, man. I respect that. You know, I love it when it's opposite.
I like to, you know, I eat breakfast in the morning. I mean, at night, so I get it. I'll eat pancakes for dinner.
I had a dad I had a single dad, and he was hardworking, so we would have eggs for dinner. So we did opposite stuff.
So I guess I'm a little gay.
In a way, you could think of this as my parade.
You're like, I don't think you get it, but you seem generally in support. You're like, in support? This is my parade. Are you kidding me? I've struggled with this my entire life. Pancakes for dinner, fucking a guy. What's the diff?
Wearing PJs at night?
And they're like, no, what we're trying to say is that it's normal. And he's like, well, no.
It's opposite.
No, it's definitely opposite. I mean, you walk down the street, most people holding hands, that's a you know, man and a woman. You're holding hands with a guy. You're doing opposite stuff. I don't hate opposite stuff. I guess that is how a lot of people. I feel like that kind of went out of fashion, but I think a lot of people were like. It's hard to even call it homophobia, but I think it just is in a technical sense where they're like, I don't have a problem with gay stuff. It's just weird. Where they're like, it's fine to be weird, which is, you know what I mean? That's how a lot of people view like LGBTQ issues, or like, you know, still with trans people, there would be a lot of people that are generally accepting, but they also start off with like a diss where they're like, well, it grosses me the fuck out. But I think you're allowed to do stuff.
Hey. I like throwing up sometimes. So,
you know,
do what you want to do.
You got a husband. Sometimes I like shitting my fucking pants. And they're like, what?
Hey, if we're doing opposite shit that's gross.
If you want to throw up into a cup and drink it, you're allowed to. And if you want to
I dropped a hot dog on the ground and I ate it. So go be gay.
So that's like so go be gay. That's like your husband. That hot dog on the ground is your marriage in my eyes. And I will not stop you from doing it. Which is an interesting kind of acceptance.
We're kind of like each other. I eat hot dogs off the ground. Sometimes. Sometimes you take a dick.
It's fine to suck a dick. I drink toilet water. Who am I to judge? That is a lot of people's perspective. A lot of people's perspective on gay stuff is like, well, I don't like it, but life isn't that good. And I think it's how they view most of their life, where it's like they don't love their family or their job. So then they just look at gay stuff as like, well, that's just something else that I don't really like.
Yeah, it's like, why should I hate it? I don't really like anything.
Yeah, but they've kind of succumbed to just be like, well, I don't think it's good, but what's good anyway? It seems like nothing. I go to work and I talk to my boss and I hate him, and sometimes I talk to gay guys and I hate them.
Yeah.
Like,
I like chocolate cake. You guys having anal sex is your chocolate cake. So go do that.
chocolate cake stops me from shooting up the office. And if sticking your cock in a dirty asshole of another man stops you from doing that, then God will it, you know? Then do it. Please. Please do it.
I was thinking about I was doing an open mic at a meth bar in Nashville one time, and a guy started heckling me.
Is that like one of those air bars but for meth?
It's kind of
go in and in your nose get some meth.
Yeah, it's kind of like, you know, when you go to it's like a coffee shop for meth.
Yeah. So how would you describe a meth bar? Because it sounds like a dive bar with an emphasis on meth.
It is a dive bar, but there would be bikers going in through the back. It's not there anymore, so I think I can just say that was what was happening.
Is it that meth dealers there and they're dealing to use
bikers? There were big bikers there, either dropping off packages or picking up packages.
Okay, so it was kind of a drop zone for meth.
It was the drop zone.
And then, of course...
hey, man, we're going to go drink at the drop zone.
Yeah, terrible place. Seems like a really dangerous place to drink.
It was right near the Greyhound bus station.
Of course it was. And then by proxy, some people are on meth in the bar.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
The sweetest woman, missing most of her teeth. Sweet, sweet, sweet woman.
I mean, a lady on meth who's bartending is probably going to be pretty nice. She's trying to make people happy.
Yeah.
Because the whole time you're like, I'm on meth. I hope nobody knows. And it's like, we all know. We love you.
I remember one time my buddy was like, "Hey, did you hear about the bartender there? She died. They found her dead on the floor." And it made me really sad. And he's like, "I pranked you." It's like, that's just a nice woman we know.
Yeah. It's also not a prank if you're just saying what is going to happen. It's not really like creative. It's like, there's a high likelihood that just will happen. You're going to have to tell me this again in the future and be serious at some point.
And I'm going to be looking behind your back to make sure your fingers aren't crossed.
Yeah, because it's like, why would this woman get clean? She's not going to.
Anyway, a guy heckled me one time.
Right. I'd imagine, how could meth watch comedy?
Yeah, and he was just like a kind of a drunkard at the bar, and he said, you look like a bisexual from East Nashville. And I've never been clocked more incorrectly in my life.
Are you from West Nashville?
East.
So you are from East.
Yes.
But he said you look bisexual.
Well, East is like gentrified.
Yeah. The East Side's always gentrified. Hipster.
Yeah, because East Side is usually where like the minorities live, and then the cool guys are like, hey, let's build some coffee shops over there.
Yeah. Okay, so he thought you were bisexual.
Yeah.
How did you look at the time?
I had longer hair.
You had longer hair?
I dressed shittier. I would just put on like a t-shirt and fucking these same pants, and it was... I don't know. I've never been... My friend was just like, what is he talking about?
I think it's just the long hair.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of places where... I don't know. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but it feels like there are a lot of people in the country who still think long hair is sort of like for strange people. It's like a very like 1960s rule to be like, well, if you have tattoos or long hair, you must be like crazy.
My buddy did a club. There used to be a club in Jackson, Tennessee. Jackson is in between Nashville and Memphis. Mm-hmm. So it has all the worst parts of both.
Okay.
The way I've heard described is it's the people that were too black for Memphis and too redneck for Nashville.
Oh, so it's just a battleground.
Yes.
Yeah.
And my buddy was went to a gas station. This club was also crazy. It was called Jackson South Street. I think I might be wrong, but it might have been close to the most hood part of Jackson. Maybe I'm wrong. Jackson's most hood part is like like one of the is. I think I read a statistic that the most dangerous street in Jackson is tied as the most dangerous street in the entire country. But so my buddy, he almost got his ass kicked just for being a guy with long hair at a gas station.
Really?
Yeah.
What went down?
Basically, they just started screaming at him, and he had to escape.
Really?
Yeah, he had to get into the car really fast.
Just like everyone in the store?
What?
Like everyone?
Not everybody. It was just he was in the parking lot. It was like a man and a woman. It was like a couple, and the guy started hassling him about having long hair.
Was it a white guy? Like a
he didn't
redneck?
say.
Huh.
He didn't say.
I wonder. It
But-
feels more like a white thing to be mad about.
But actually, let's talk about Jackson South Street. I've never been there. I've heard horror story, worse stories than from any club I've ever heard of. Somebody told a story about a woman walked inside claiming to be Jesus, and then at one point picked up the cash register and tried to chuck it at a comedian.
Those are heavy.
Yes.
Probably just went 4 feet and hit somebody in the front row. You can kill somebody if you hit him with the quarter of a cash register. Man, Darlene got hit with a cash register.
Again.
She got hit. Man, it's been 2 in a year. She keeps getting knocked with cash registers. I mean, part of it feels lucky, but it ain't because the money's inside and the heavy's on the outside. That's crazy. Yeah. It's weird, it's like you have all the famous comics talk about the Miami Improv is crazy, and there's these runs of sort of, I guess, what would be in more the A tier. Even if they're not great, they're still in the A tier of clubs because they're an improv or whatever.
Yeah.
But you also forget it's there's also all these clubs that famous comics never do.
Oh, there's these clubs just in the middle of nowhere.
That nobody really knows they exist.
Run by a guy that does street jokes. He hosts every single show. He goes up and tells a joke about what he called 2 gay guys covered in gravy or something like that.
Yeah.
And then they have a punchline. It's just old jokes.
Right. And
they demolish. And then when you go up and do original material, you fucking bomb.
Oh, yeah.
My buddy did Jackson South Street one time, and somebody booked him because they said, the fact that you bombed here means you're a good comic.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. That actually does make sense. Yeah, there's something about if it's not, because I feel if people go to especially somewhere like the Comedy Store or the Comedy Cellar or the Comedy Mothership, and then kind of trickling down from that, if they go to an improv, they might have a little more of a disposition of we're going to a show.
Yeah.
Let's kind of accept what they give us.
Mm-hmm.
If I don't get a joke, maybe it's not for me. Not necessarily. A lot of people still give you guff. But if you go to a place,
the store, there's the only problems at the store are just drunk people mad about their bills.
Yeah, they don't know it, But if you go to Jackson South Street, people will look at you how dare you come in here to our local club and do that material? It's they could have Louis C.K. come and be what is he talking about?
We do not have television.
Yeah. He hasn't talked about anybody walking into a bar, what you call a Chinese guy on Saturday, what a Jewish guy eats at night. He hasn't discussed any of the topics we expected him to talk about, which is just demographics of people at different times and places. That's what a lot of people want to hear.
And he's never made any observation about that one guy in the trailer park who's always acting like this.
And worst of all, he hasn't said anything about Jackson. I mean, that's what we expect. You come into Jackson South Street and you talk about Jackson.
Everybody talks about Jackson. Everybody we like talks about Jackson. And they talk about the city we don't like, which is next to us.
Yep. The kind of comedy that would just be so funny. Sebastian Maniscalco, for some reason, is doing Jackson South Street. The manager comes in and he's so just so you know, I would do about half of your set talk about Jackson.
Other half, we do not like Memphis. So talk about Memphis.
Talk about Memphis.
But bad.
But bad. He's what if I talk about my family? They're they don't know your family personally.
They have family. Half of them are dead.
It actually...
The majority... Let's just assume 80% of this audience, most of their family's dead.
if you even bring up family, you will be dragging people through a graveyard of their entire family. Okay, so what you're going to do is talk about how the fucking gas station off the freeway is never open. And they'll go, you're right. It is often not open. A guy came in here last week and talked about that, and he murdered.
I went into a bathroom in Jackson one time, and I went into the men's room, and it was just covered. It was just, there was like shit on the walls, and there was like piss all over the seat. And so I was like, I'll go to the woman's room. I go to the woman's room, and it's cleaner, but there's still piss all over the seats.
That's crazy. Well, actually, yeah, that makes sense. Women hover in dirty bathrooms, and they piss more on the seat.
Yeah, we never talk shit enough about women for getting piss on the seat. What if I'm trying to sit?
What if I'm in there for some reason?
Yeah.
Men have never talked shit about women not keeping the bathrooms clean. On the odd occasion, we are in there too.
Hey.
And a lot of people say you shouldn't be in there. Well, there's too much poop in the men's. So I guess I'm a lady.
For right now, for this situation,
I'm a lady.
I'm going to do some whatever you guys do on the street with the pride or whatever.
I'm doing pride stuff because there's too much poop in the bathroom. So
No, there's too much poop, and you got to be pride.
You know when there's so much shit that you have to be pride. Guess I'm pride. Just bursting through the women's restroom. Too much poop
ladies,
in the men's.
I'm pride right now.
Ladies, I'm pride. There's too much shit covering the men's bathroom. So don't be scared. I'm one of you for as long as I'm in here. When I'm outside, I might approach you sexually. But not in here.
When outside, I'm not pride. Inside, I'm pride.
If I'm in the women's bathroom, call me a lady. We all trans sometimes. Sometimes there's shit in the men's bathroom and you gotta drop one into bitch's room.
Oh, you want me to cut off my penis? I'll do it here if you got some string.
Sometimes you gotta cut off your dick to take a shit in the women's bathroom. Because if you still got that dick on you, you're gonna be scaring everybody. If you walk in bleeding out your pants from your dick, bitches know you ain't got no dick. So they ain't scared and you can take a shit.
Oh, great. There's shit in the men's room. Thank God I got my super glue. I got my knife and my super glue, and I'm all set.
Time to cut off my dick for a couple minutes. It's a guy who's trying really hard to be an ally. And it's not going well.
Damn, this is a good episode.
Have you heard the theory that seems pretty credible that just the entire Trump assassination was just a complete lie?
Yeah, I've heard that.
Because, I mean, obviously you hear that day one, but everybody's just looking at his ear now, and they're like, his ear's fine. And somebody was talking about, like, cartilage regrowing itself, and he's like, his cartilage would have had to have fully regrown itself within such a short amount of time. And they
you know what makes me think that it's true is before the assassination, his ear was okay, but now it's better than ever.
Right.
So I think it regrew better.
I mean, if it regrew perfectly.
What if we find out Trump can regrow every part of his body and he thinks everyone can do it?
And he just has never talked about it?
Yeah.
His finger gets chopped off and then it regrows itself with like skin bubbles on NBC Live.
He's like, yep, that's just something that happens to everybody.
That's what bodies do. That's why he doesn't support healthcare. These guys come back from Afghanistan without your leg. I say get a new one.
That's why he doesn't support veterans.
No.
He's just like, try harder to grow it back.
He's like, you're an idiot. Screaming in an amputee veteran's face. Fucking grow it back.
I stepped on a landmine.
Ass.
I'm fine.
I mean, it was...
They put landmines in the office. I blow up every part of my body, and it grows back stronger.
Trump's on the news saying he blows up 5 times a day. He says he blows up 5 times a day, and he's fine. And there seems to be credible evidence that he does. I mean, we have video evidence of him getting exploded, and then all of his skin, independent of one another, just sort of starts crawling back to itself and reforms. What if Trump lives forever?
Yeah.
What if he doesn't die? What are we gonna do?
Oh, have you heard that thing that it lowers your chance of prostate cancer if people get their finger up in your ass and play with your fucking prostate till you jizz?
Why?
I don't know why that does that, but it does. So, disgraced ex-president Joe Biden was just diagnosed with prostate cancer.
He was?
Yeah, he was. Stage 4. So,
yeah.
Interesting that this guy that wanted to be president wasn't getting finger popped.
No, he was keeping it P.
Yeah.
He would just never do it. I mean, he did stand on that in the campaign where he's like, listen, I know I'm Democrat. I know we be talking about gay shit and trans shit, but like, I'll stand on all 10 toes on this. Nobody's touching my asshole. And that did win him a lot of votes, especially in like, sort of middle America. A lot of people were like, well.
And now it's just blown up in his face with this prostate cancer debacle.
Somebody needs to fuck him in the ass before he dies. Somebody needs...
I'll volunteer. Secret Service, you're probably watching. If you want to hook me up with Joe Biden.
And let's make it clear, neither of us are attracted to him.
Oh, he's old. In fact, I'm straight. But I just love America so much that I will fist fuck an elderly president.
If you fuck Joe Biden in the ass, he could live for another 50 years.
Yeah, it won't be nice because he's got dementia too, but...
Yeah, that's tough. Your brain is failing and then you have to get like horrific ass surgery. Because when you have prostate cancer, I think sometimes they they'll fuck up your asshole and then you have to get a colostomy bag. So can you imagine you have no conception of where you are and what's happening, and then you wake up and there's a bag of shit connected to your stomach?
He should run next year, or not next year.
Yeah, he should.
He should run on the next election.
Yes,
and be like, you know what I think of Donald Trump's pregnancy, and then pull out the colostomy bag and just empty it all over the stage.
That would be so gross. If he comes back, he's now. I mean, how old is he right now? Can you look it up? I'd love to know. I think he's like late 80s. He's so old. So he's however old he is right now, and then he comes back even older, more demented, stage 4 progressive prostate cancer.
He's 82.
He's 82, so in 2028 he'll be like 85. He comes back 85. Somehow he's lived. Nobody can believe it. He has stage 4 prostate cancer and he's 85, but he's still alive.
They said LA comedians finger popped his ass, so he's alive
by
now.
Getting fucked in the ass. He stayed alive 3 years of just daily pounding. This guy has to get gaped every single day just to live. But he does it because he wants to run again. He's 85. Donald Trump is trying to rip him, and then he just pulls up his shirt, rips off a colostomy bag, leaving an open stomach wound, and then just spreads shit around the stage.
Saying this is what he did to us.
I feel like that would be cathartic.
Yeah.
I feel like all of us in the country could be like, yeah, right? It is over. It's finally Joe Biden spread shit out of a colostomy bag on a campaign stage. We can let it go. Anybody can be president now.
What if he brought a Venezuelan baby up on stage, right? And he was like, this is what Donald Trump is doing to our country. And he just snaps the baby's neck in half.
Yeah.
And he lifts it and he sucks all the bone marrow out of the baby and he grows stronger.
Yeah, if he gets that,
the stem cells,
pineal gland, thyroid thing.
Yeah. Well, if he drinks the adrenochrome, he drinks the adrenochrome, and he's like, by the way, we're because we can't get the Venezuelans back, we're just going to be drinking their blood.
Good news.
Adrenochrome for every American.
Adrenochrome has been only for the elites for so long, but you as a regular American can drink adrenochrome from a Venezuelan child. How cool is that? We scare them, and then we kill them, and then we get all their blood and stuff. and you can just drink. You'll kill it at work. People are going to want to work again. It would be tough if we started committing a genocide of children in Venezuela for their adrenochrome, but it made all of us want to work really hard. And then our country the GDP just shot through the roof.
Oh, we do the opposite. It's an economic boom. And then comedy's back, baby.
And then that's when comedy will really be back, is when people have drank enough adrenochrome to work hard.
And you have to buy 2 babies. Instead of 2 drinks, you buy 2 babies.
Comedy Store got adrenochrome. They got everything. I got an adrenochrome glaze on a pizza. I'd be putting that shit on.
We got rappers drinking codeine mixed with adrenochrome.
I mean, it would only, with how much people are into bone marrow and supplements in general, and how much people already have conspiracies about the elites drinking adrenochrome, it would only take 3 years to get everybody to drink adrenochrome from a dead baby, if that's a true thing. Because I think really people are most upset about feeling left out.
Yeah. It's not the killing babies they're upset about.
It's also like all those people who are like saying all these, conspiracies, and I call them that because it's not proven, about the elites drinking adrenochrome from babies. If you're in that position, it's not like you ask for the adrenochrome. It's like you're in a room of a bunch of people. You all just admitted to being pedophiles, so you all have collective, shame on each other. And then they go, okay, now we're going to drink adrenochrome. You're not going to be like, I'm good.
Yeah.
You don't even say...
The guys drinking the baby blood, even, they need to not listen to peer pressure.
That's what they need to do. I mean, the guys shitting on Hillary Clinton for drinking baby blood can't even resist the pressure to have another beer when their friends ask them. So it's like, how are you going to act if all of the world's most powerful people are looking at you in a circle being like, are you going to drink some of this baby's blood?
Yeah, you can't be like, I quit.
You're like, okay, I either die in some sort of satanic death ritual, or I just have a sip of what is maybe just a red liquid. And then you drink it and you go, that's definitely baby's blood. Holy shit, these guys are not lying. And I feel so good right now. That's also the thing, is you're at this crossroads in your life where you've done so well in politics, you've reached the pinnacle. And now you've entered like the deep state and this awful ritualistic killing field. And you're like, well, you could say there's 2 roads, but I've already walked 10 feet down the road and there's kind of a gate closed behind me that I die if I try and walk out of.
Yeah.
And then you drink it and you feel awful about yourself. But then like 5 minutes later, you feel amazing.
Oh, yeah.
And you're like, all right, I'm in. I get
it. I guess I'm Pride now.
I guess I'm Pride. That is crazy. Like, if that were true, it's very funny to imagine that both things are true. That like elites drink baby blood, but then also go into Congress and are like, gay guys can't get married. Like, if you're drinking baby blood, everybody can get married.
Yeah.
Hey, you can get married. You're killing a baby and drinking its blood. I think people can get married.
You know what's funny about the adrenochrome thing is metaphorically, you're right. Metaphorically, this is all true. Maybe not literally. But yeah, the rich they are drinking children's blood if we're talking like poetically.
Well, yeah, I mean, a lot of people in power, I think, already have sort of the disposition to do that because they allow so many people to die every day.
Yeah.
An interesting thing, though, I was reading in that book about behavior. They talk a lot about, like the trolley problem. And they find that the layers of separation from the death of people make it easier to kill the people. Like even if you frame the question differently, like if you tell people, pull this lever and 5 people will die, or you tell them, pull this lever and you'll save 1 person, but 5 people still die, it's way easier for people to side with the latter.
Yeah.
Because if you frame it that way, and then if it's like, oh, press this button 500 feet away that triggers a thing inside of the train to then turn itself, then the decision's made even easier. Where it's like, it's the difference between like pushing a guy onto the track to save 5 people and like pulling a lever that kills that same guy. It's still a person dying, but pulling the lever is so much easier for people. So, you know, it's like that's where the doubt of like, well, would those people really drink baby blood is.
Yeah.
But it's also like, you know, it's sort of, conspiracies are so good because everything can be true. Where it's like, if you ask anyone on Earth, there's 8 billion people on Earth. Do you think one person on Earth would be fine drinking a baby's blood?
Yeah.
Anybody in their right mind would be like, sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's 100,000 people out of 8 billion that will drink baby's blood any day.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, well, what if they're like the elites and they can keep it private and they also have pressure to do it? Then you're like, well, then definitely. And then it seems like the only option is for them to drink baby blood. I think the upsetting thing is that chances are these people probably don't drink baby blood.
Yeah.
They just want to make money.
Yeah.
They just go in, they legislate against the working class, and then they go home and they drink like kind of shitty Pinot Grigio. That's like not even that good. And then they like lay next to somebody they don't love. Like, I think the fucked up part is we want to believe that they are like reaching this godlike status and are so happy in their power. And it's like, they probably kind of hate their job too. Their job just also fucking kills people and they don't care that much. And it's the banality that I think is harder to accept than a more direct like, we'll drink the blood.
I am thinking though about like, you know how many people, it would only take like a handful of people drinking baby's blood to get everybody into it.
You mean like across the world?
No. I mean like
in the halls of
in the
Congress.
in the elite. It would be like, it would take like maybe 6 guys being like, we should drink baby's blood for them to be like, I guess drinking baby's blood is cool.
Yeah, I mean,
because something extreme as drinking baby's blood, it's like if a guy you just hang out with is like that, it's like with I had a buddy other friends were like basically like, hey, don't hang out with this guy because you're probably definitely going to use hard drugs. And I was like, all right. And they were kind of right, where it's like, if it's a guy who's using hard drugs near you, it's like, I'm here.
Well, he's made it okay to do.
Yeah. He's fine with it.
Yeah. And I mean, the biggest peer pressure and the biggest competition socially exists at a higher level.
Yeah.
Their entire life becomes competition to where, like, you know, regular people are able to meet new people and hang out with each other without like the implication of like, I might do a deal with this person might have some sort of power over me in a global market. Whereas like if you're a billionaire, if you're like Jeff Bezos, like you're kind of the top dog, but still so many people you're meeting, you're never really just meeting them. Like you might potentially work with them. You might have some sort of business relationship. So it's like the billionaires have a calendar. It's called the billionaire calendar. It's not anything secret, but it's just all these events where billionaires go. So it's like the Monaco Yacht Club, you know, like that yacht event. There's like at the same time as the Monaco Grand Prix, and then there's like celebrating New Year's Eve on this specific island in the Pacific where it turns first. It's like you're the earliest. Like there's all these specific places. They fly around the world all year. They're very busy to go to these social events because those social events make them billions of dollars.
Yeah.
And help them network with other people. So if you already feel this pressure to buy a private jet, because everybody you know has a private jet, to appear at all of these functions like the Met Gala or whatever, where all these rich people go, that costs a lot of money. If you're already spending literally millions of dollars just to be places, well, then once you're there, if they're all drinking baby's blood, you're like, what the fuck did I fly to Monaco for? I gotta drink this blood.
Oh, great. I'm the only one here not doing it.
I mean, can you imagine? Can you even fathom the embarrassment of being the only one in the room not drinking baby's blood? I think we all like to think that we would be so proud that we're not the one drinking baby's blood. But when everyone else is doing it and everyone else is a fucking billionaire, you feel like an idiot.
Oh yeah, it's like with cheating on your wife, you know? It's like everybody else is doing it.
Oh no. it would suck.
I love my wife.
What if you were just like,
She supported me when I had nothing.
I know. It's just like, what if you were like friends with a bunch of guys since you were like a little kid, and then like you all become rich and successful, and then all of your friends one day start talking about cheating on their wives, and then you like love your wife and you're a good husband, and you hear this and you're like, wait, what? And they're like, yeah, man, you don't cheat on your wife. And you're like, no. And then all of a sudden there's a rift in your friend group because you won't cheat on your wife. And then you're just like, what the fuck?
Because everybody's thinking like, oh, this guy doesn't cheat on his wife, so he must think he's better than me.
Yeah. And they also think you're a pussy.
Yeah.
You're like, dude, I crushed it in my business. I own a McLaren. I have a 3-story house in the Hollywood Hills. I have a beautiful wife and kids. And now I'm a pussy because I won't violate the sanctity of all of it? And they're
and they're like, yeah, you're a pussy. Also, you can't do business with us anymore.
No, how can I trust you? Also, yeah, they trust each other more the same way elite pedophiles trust each other more because they all have the same dirt on each other.
Yeah.
So they're like, well, yeah, it's hard to trust you. You're like a goody two-shoes. You might tell on me for fucking a child when my wife is in labor, which I think is cool, but you don't for some reason. And then you just have to... Guys who cheat on their wife really hate it when you mention to them that they are cheating on their wife because they don't talk about it like that. Like, I remember there was a guy in comedy who had a wife and then was like, man, I want to fuck this girl so bad.
Yeah.
And then they were all talking about it. And then I looked at him and I go, don't you have a wife? And he was like, man, stop with all that. And I'm like... No, but that's what it is.
Yeah.
If you fuck that lady, you're not fucking a lady. You're cheating on your wife. And he was acting like it was rude of me to bring up the fact that he's cheating on his wife. And in his social conception, it is rude of me to bring up that he's cheating on his wife. But in my world, I'm like, no, you can't talk about cheating on your wife around me without me being like, yeah, you're cheating on your wife.
Yeah, you're automatically the buzzkill.
It's so funny. And it's like sometimes you're fine with being a buzzkill.
Yeah.
Because if you're like, if the party is cheating on your wife, I'll ruin the party.
What if they did Pride? What if a guy showed up to Pride and was like, hey, I get you. I cheat on my wife.
Of course I support gay marriage. I cheat on my wife. I don't respect marriage. If you don't either, that's fine. They're like, no, we do respect marriage. We're just gay. And he's like, you hear what you just said?
I saw, did you see the Twitter post where somebody posted a screen cap from Grindr where he's like, the guy is messaging, he's like, you want to come over? Wife is asleep. And the guy's like, she's asleep at 6 p.m. And he's like, gave her drugs. And then a devil horns. And then said, do you drink piss?
Oh my God. Drugging your wife so you can have a guy come over and piss in his mouth? Man, it's like
at a certain point, if you're like a bisexual man with a wife that cheats on her, it's like, let's get some piss in there.
Dude, if you are cheating on somebody and also doing piss stuff, that's so crazy.
That's like so disrespectful.
It's so fucked. Can you imagine? It's like, not only
me personally, if I had a loving wife, my urine's for her in the toilet.
Oh, absolutely. All day. And I would only piss on her a little bit.
Yeah, it wouldn't be every day. But it'd be in as many days as she'd like.
And as much as she would want, I would do it. But every time I do it, I would be saying, this is my sweet wife.
And I would be saying, this piss is for you. And the toilet.
This piss is for you. But
and you'd say to your wife, do you want to, if I marry the toilet, is this fine? Can I marry the toilet just so I don't feel like I'm stepping outside of either of my marriages?
That's how good of a man I am. I would become polygamous to have 2 wives, one a woman and the other a toilet. And the toilet is only piss play.
Yes. And I can't use any urinals because that's to me is infidelity.
No, then you're cheating on your wife and your toilet wife. Then you're a fucking piece of shit.
I do not kiss the toilet.
I don't
kiss it. Kissing's for you.
The kissing's for you. It also makes every time you pee really hot Because then it's not just peeing, it's some nasty piss play because you've sort of humanized the toilet so much.
People are like, you don't drink a lot of water, and you're like, I'm saving it.
I'm saving it. And that's a way to have fun in your life. To everybody listening, when you pee in a toilet, imagine the toilet is sentient and that it likes it.
No, don't even do that. Just marry your toilet.
Marry the toilet.
So if you're dating a girl, she can be, she could be like, are you, casually dating, she'd be like, are you seeing other people? And you're like, well, I have a toilet at home that I'm married to.
So,
yes.
if you're cool with that. And then she's not, and you're like, why? Because I'm married? And she's like, no, because you think you're married to a toilet. You're like, bitch, think.
Think. Hey, you pull out documents.
We went to the courthouse. Courthouse came to us.
I had my plumber unscrew the toilet, bring it to the courthouse. I put it in a fancy dress.
It is I've been imagining a toilet in a bridal headdress a lot. I've been imagining that. Yeah, I went into my buddy's bathroom, and the toilet had a TV in front of it. And I said, oh, is that to watch TV? And he said, yeah, the toilet can watch TV. My wife. Yeah, so my wife, the toilet, can watch TV.
You go into your wife's wedding and nervous, and you're like, we've introduced scat into my marriage with the toilet.
Yeah, you have to have a long conversation before you can poop in your own toilet, because you have to see if the toilet's okay with it. And then you do, and you're like, damn, you're a freak. You are a freak, bitch. Man, it's just how weak of a mind do you have to be like, I have to piss in a guy's mouth so bad, I'm gonna illegally drug my wife so she falls asleep. And how long until the wife catches on?
Yeah.
She's passing out at 5:30 3 times a week.
What sort of drink do you think he gave her? Because if he gave her alcohol, that could kill her.
Totally. I mean,
you're pissing in a guy's mouth next to your dead wife,
and that's when the chickens come home to roost. You've been having all this fun drugging your wife 3 times a week to piss in a guy's mouth, and then it's 1 p.m. the next day, and your wife isn't moving. You shake her, and you go, "Oh, I killed my wife, so I could piss in a guy's mouth." That's not going to sound too good to a jury.
Yeah, to a jury, the jury's not going to be like, Oh, yeah, we do that.
Because you didn't want to hurt her feelings. I understand.
You didn't want your coworkers to know that you have sex with guys sometimes.
That's also just terrifying, because whoever that guy is just a guy in the suburbs, you know?
Yeah.
He's like picking his kids up from school.
He probably isn't. He's probably a city guy.
I hope so, but you don't know. You know what I mean? Like,
he's probably a city slicker. Sounds like city slicker. I don't feel like Grindr is that popular in the suburbs.
Grindr's...
But probably in, like, Long Island in the Valley, it's, like, popping. Because those are, like, more urban... Those are, more...
Well, it's more popular, but Grindr is, like, the #1 gay fuck app. So any guy that's secretly gay trying to cheat on his wife, he's going to Grindr.
But if you're in the suburbs, it's, like... There's not probably going to be that many people.
There'll be less, but they'll be on there.
Yeah, but then it's like... Then it's like you fucked if you fucked everybody, all the gay guys know you.
Yeah, but that's fine. They're not going to tell your wife.
I guess not.
Go, like
when you see, because we're both married and we both cheat on our wives with gay men because we're down low, right? You know, like when you're at the grocery store and you see a guy you've just pounded, and you kind of you make that look at him where it's like, hey, I'm with my family right now.
It's like the only thrill you have in life.
Yeah.
Is seeing a 19-year-old that you had sex with the night before when you're with your family of 5.
And he's wearing like a long sleeve shirt, so they have no clue about his tattoos, but you do.
Mm-hmm. You go out to Outback Steakhouse and, who's your waiter? It's the 19-year-old who drank your piss the night before. And he's serving your child chicken nuggets right now, and you go, I hope you wash your hands.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, what does the lady want? A drugged drink?
Yeah. Would she like a drugged drink so we could have sex later? Maybe. Man, it's like, gosh, you think the worst thing that can happen as a woman is you get drugged and raped, but it turns out you can get drugged and then the guy doesn't even fuck you. He just goes to have sex with a man because he's not even attracted to you. He drugged you because he doesn't want to fuck you.
He probably still fucks her, though.
Maybe.
He probably most likely is he maybe isn't even, he's like bisexual, but maybe the thrill to him is just the depravity.
I don't know. There's a lot of guys that are just fully closeted, though. The thing about Grindr is you go to places where maybe they're supposed to be homophobic, but then you go on Grindr and all it is like a bunch of profiles, just no profile pictures. You know? Because like,
I did wonder that, because I didn't know whether or not they had profile pics or not. Because I was like, because it feels like you could get outed pretty easily if they did.
Totally. So, I mean, honestly, it's like you might expect less, but like I've been in places, I haven't been on Grindr in a while, but like I've been in places that are supposed to be homophobic, and I've looked on Grindr, and it's the same amount of men. Because Grindr will like stop, like you can just scroll through a list of profiles, but then it'll show you like, oh, there's nobody left.
Yeah.
But if there are more people left, it'll then go to like, oh, if you're premium, you can unlock all the rest of these, you know? What I'm saying is anywhere you go, there's always more than enough. There's never a low amount. The only real difference is whether or not there are profile pictures.
Well, how do you know, like, if you're not attracted to the guy, if there's no pictures?
Well, when it comes to that kind of like DL cruising, I think that kind of is, I don't know, just comes a little less into it. Like a lot of these guys fucking hate themselves and they're closeted and they don't really have standards for a dick they're going to suck because they're like, I'm closeted, I hate myself, I want to suck a penis, and this guy is a mile away and he has a penis and he'll let me suck it.
Yeah.
And so they'll just fuck somebody really ugly, you know? Like in my Grindr days, I am not closeted with a family.
Yeah.
So I am willing to put my picture out there.
Oh, so you can. Okay.
Totally.
Okay.
Totally. Of course you have the option.
Yeah.
You can put your picture, your name, where you live. You can tell them everything about you if you want. But if you go to places that are supposed to be homophobic, and I say supposed to be because they're not, everybody's just gay quietly, what you'll see is you'll just see like, you know, no profile picture and then no name, and it'll say like, I'm 36, but you can put like height and weight. So like chances are those guys that aren't seeing pictures are probably going to like check out and be like, all right, well, I don't know, this guy's 5'11", 160, he's not fat, you know?
Yeah.
Something like
you
that.
have to do BMI math.
Yeah, but also I think a lot of guys are like, I just want to, I think they're so closeted, they're like, I just want to be gay.
Yeah.
You know, so they're like not even thinking about like, am I attracted to this person? They're like, I just want to go be gay, you know? So they just meet up and do that. But also like sometimes with like down low guys, they might not have a public profile picture, but then maybe if you talk to them, it's like, oh, can I see a picture of your face? But some guys are just like, no, you will see me when you see me.
I mean, gay people seem to be pretty body positive, was my takeaway, kind of, in comparison. I remember, I've been doing this joke about, like, this is kind of related, but also not. This is just a thought. I don't know, this is the way we do the podcast. I have a thought, you have a thought, you know, even if it interrupts the flow of the conversation, I guess.
This is how we do the podcast.
This is how we do the podcast, so sorry if this is rude for me to jump to something I was thinking
of.
We're
gabbing.
I've been doing this joke about, like, that a woman yelled out at me at a show that in France, like, women don't care about height.
Mm-hmm.
You were there for that.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes when I say that, this has happened a couple times, there'll be women in the audience that will gasp at the notion.
Really?
Yeah. The idea that a woman wouldn't care, like, oh, what?
My word.
That's crazy. And it's like, nothing makes you feel worse about your body than one being like, wait a minute. People want to fuck you?
Somebody's attracted to you?
That's absurd.
Can't even conceive of that. Yeah, I think the more options you have, the more ability you are to be picky choosy, and then the more ability you have to then be negative about somebody's body, you know? So like it's pretty easy if you're like scrolling for porn to be like, oh, well, they're ugly.
Yeah.
Even if in real life you'd probably fuck that person.
Oh, yeah.
But if you're like, I have the option to jack off or not jack off to this, I can just say no, then I'll be very picky choosy. But then it's like, you know, then people pick their partners and like maybe it's not like their absolute ideal body.
Yeah.
But they're also like, well, I love this person and I'm
Yeah.
attracted to them, you know?
I do feel like dating app shit has gotten into real life in a way that's like really not good for the future of the world.
Yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of people don't understand anymore that it's like you should, like, part of why dating is great is like you learn to love everything about the person you're with.
Yeah.
You know? And it's like if you want like a fucking supermodel, you're like a sociopath.
Yeah.
Because there are so many beautiful people. But then if you're just looking at pictures being like, well, they're not perfect.
Yeah, you're like, yeah, the nose, I don't like the nose.
Yeah, but it's bad because the notion is, well, I'll have all these standards of height and weight, how much money they make, and what they do for work or blah, blah, blah. And then I'll have those.
Coincidentally also all fits in with the stereotype of a white guy.
Yeah. So it's like I'll have all these standards, and then I will pick from the pool of people that fit those standards. And it's like funny because they're like, so then I'll still make a decision. I'll just have these bases covered. So I can be shallow in the beginning, and then I'll be able to truly love whoever I find within that. But it's like you're starting from a shallow place.
You can't really start from a bad place and then end up in a good place.
No, because what if that guy that's really hot, that has a great job, all of a sudden goes, I want a career change.
Yeah.
And then he takes a huge pay cut to follow his passion. And then he gains a little weight. Well, okay.
And then he gets, and then he's walking down the street and one of those big construction things, falls onto him and it like breaks a lot of his bones.
And that was headless.
No. He's not headless, but it breaks a lot of his bones and he becomes like 5 inches shorter.
Like an accordion?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now you got and he's bald too now.
And he's bald.
Yeah, and he becomes bald.
Because it hit him so hard, all the hair flew off.
Yeah, because he got scared. The sound scared him so much, his hair flew off.
Yeah, with like little kind of lightning bolts. Yeah, and that's why I think you have to start from the place of like, do I love and accept the core of this person?
And then you're like, well, I started from a shallow place, so no.
Yeah, which is, it's never going to work. It's never going to work at all. You know, it's like, because you see wonderful old couples, and it's like, neither of them are fuckable.
Not right now, no.
So it's like if those two people got together to have a fuckable, high-value partner, it's like, well, now he's fucking old. He's retired. He's living off pension. Do you still love him? It's like, what the fuck, It doesn't make any sense. And they don't realize that it's like when you pick from this high-standard pool, what you're also Xing yourself out of is all the people who you might truly connect with. And you're like, oh, this person really understands me more than anybody else ever has. You know what I mean?
You ever see an attractive person just try to figure something out? I was behind these two women and they were trying to figure out like how to use this parking meter thing. It was really upsetting. It was like really upsetting to be like, oh yeah, nobody really taught you anything. Nobody thought to ever teach you stuff.
Yeah, one time in high school, there was this one guy, Gordon Magruder, who was like literally an Abercrombie model.
Yeah.
And I say his name because his name is kind of perfect for who he was. But he was like an Abercrombie model and had like black and gray tattoos and blonde hair and piercing eyes. And like, he was just like very like catalog model hot.
Yeah.
And it was kind of just accepted around the school of like, well, that's the hottest guy.
Mm-hmm.
Even if not everybody is attracted to his type of person, that guy's the hottest guy. And I remember he was on like the baseball team, and another guy from the baseball team saw him from like 50 yards away in the parking lot and goes like, hey, Gruder, what's up, you fucking gay guy? And then Gordon looked at him and goes, yeah? And he like thought about it and was like, well, you're fucking gay. And I had been doing comedy, so I was already kind of an asshole thinking I was funny. And I just kind of looked at him with sympathy of like, oh yeah, like you've never had to be funny or creative or had to think. Like he called you gay and then you took time to think about it. And all you got back was he's also gay, which is fun. It's not unfunny. But but it was also the best he could do. So yes, I've definitely seen it where you look at really hot, accepted people and you're like, damn, it's almost like the world cheated you by never challenging you in any way.
Yeah, we do yonders at the Comedy Store, and like sometimes people be super confused. If you don't know what a yonder is, it's like a phone pouch, and you shut it, and
it locks so they can't use their phone in the room.
Yes, essentially. The old good-looking people will come in all the time, and they'll see the yonder, and be like, "How does this work?" And then they'll try to put their phone in sideways.
What?
They'll try to put it in sideways. They'll be like, "Yeah, no, you just go sideways." It's like, what do you like? I feel like guys with Down syndrome, they learn that stuff. They teach them that stuff.
Yeah. I mean, they
just took for granted because you have average intelligence that you understand spatial stuff.
And you don't. You don't at all.
To be like, I guess you go, this bag that's a cylinder? Sideways.
Yeah, and then that person gets in a car, and drives and figures out on the move spatial awareness. And then the guy's in front of you and you're like, why is this guy such a bad driver? And it's like, well, because he's been hot.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think if you are, because a lot of people are good looking, but if you're like hot,
yes,
like really hot, that's just your thing. So
you're
like
disabled.
You're disabled because everybody who walks into a social group, everybody else in the social group, in some way, whether friendly or in a mean way, is kind of being like, so what's your thing? What does this guy do? Are you like serious and logical and you're interesting to learn from? Are you funny? Are you, supportive? Are you really nice? Are you giving, or are you sort of the likable dumb guy? But if you're really fucking hot and you walk into a group, nobody has any of those questions because they're just like, I know what you are. You're the hottest person here.
But vice versa. You ever see like a man with like an ugly man with like a really attractive woman?
Yeah.
And you're like, that guy's really good at something.
Yes.
But it's like, maybe that guy isn't.
Well, he just has money.
Yeah, but I don't think that that's necessarily true, though.
Well, it's having money. I think it can also be like, maybe he's like 10 years older and she wants to date an older guy, just in general, Or maybe, on the off chance, sometimes a guy doesn't have money and, he's just, it's always a convalescence of things where it's like maybe like that lady has been through a lot.
Yeah.
Has been with terrible guys and she feels a little insecure and then she sees this guy and he's like, well, he's not going to cheat on me. He's going to be nice to me.
But then we're looking negatively at this guy just for being ugly.
Well, yeah, because we're judging it off of their looks not matching.
Yeah.
So, of course, we're being negative.
But it's also like, if their looks aren't matching, it's like, you kind of assume there must be it's not even like he must have money. I feel like saying he must have money is kind of like a little bit shitting on the woman a little bit.
Definitely.
In a way that I don't think is necessarily true to life.
Yeah, I mean, I guess what I'm saying is like...
Somebody was telling me that somebody they know that's ugly, they did I probably shouldn't say, but they did something good artistically, and they had sex with two attractive women, very ugly guy, and it's like, oh, if you're good at some shit, you can do it,
Yeah, I mean, you can kind of make yourself hot if people know that you have a skill.
But also, stand-up doesn't... If you're really good at stand-up, if you're as good at stand-up as most musicians are at music, like, if you're better... Like, I think of people I meet outside of the stand-up world, I'm probably better at whatever they do at stand-up than they are at that. But their lives are better because they're in a more respected field.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks if you want what they have.
And I guess I don't.
Yeah.
I don't actually. Yeah.
And that's always an important thing to remember is you always look at other people's lives, not you specifically, but we all do. You look at other people's lives and you're like, oh, I want that. But then it's like you have somebody be like, well, do you want to do everything they do? And do you want to live their life? And do you want to have that job? And you're like, no, not at all. And they're like, well, then you don't get to feel bad about not having that.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Because it's not something you ever wanted or needed.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people where it's like, your lives is much better than mine, but in my head, I think that you're an F slur. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, we have a lot more fun than people with financially better lives than us.
You think so?
Yeah.
I think
a lot of those people are like trying to keep up their mortgage, trying to balance work with family.
They have to get drunk every single night.
They get drunk all the time. They don't have any real hobbies or passions. It's like happiness doesn't come from just having money. Money will give you an amount of stability that can then give you enough calmness to maybe do things that will make you truly fulfilled.
Yeah.
But like, if you're going straight for fulfillment, then you can kind of find happiness without all the money.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, the lack of money will still be one of the greatest things to cause stress and make you unhappy. But if you also are doing it in the name of pursuing a passion, then I think that gets rationalized better in your brain. You're less
That's true.
worried about being poor. Like, if you were working a job that made you the same amount of money as the Comedy Store, except it was a factory, and you didn't want to be a comedian and you had no passion, you'd be so much sadder. But, it's like you make a little bit of money at the Comedy Store, but you're like, yeah, but I get to go up, and,
Yeah.
you're wealthy in other ways.
That's true.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is a very what's the word? Inspiring episode.
I hope you're inspired.
I hope you're inspired. I hope you if you want to have sex with Cooper because of this episode, that'd be much appreciated. But
I don't want
toss
to
a little bit of sloppy seconds towards Shane's way if you're a lady.
I don't want to have sex with anyone right now. So
Okay.
just if you want to have sex, I would fuck Shane.
Thank you. Yeah, if you want to give some money, then give it to Cooper. You can Venmo Cooper.
I would like money.
Send Cooper Lyden maybe $5, $5, $10, $20, $30.
Yeah, I would like some money.
Send Cooper Lyden $45. If you listen to the episode, which 6 of you did, if you got to the end, send Cooper Lyden $45.
Yeah, so send me $45, have sex with Shane, and other than that, just try and find some joy.
Stay gold.
Stay gold.
And stay funny.
Stay funny.